Indian enterprises have improved a lot, especially with the Clause 49, implementing the enterprise risk management framework. So we can't say we are it's as stringent as the Sarbanes-Oxley implementation that has happened across US or companies which are listed in the US stock exchange or registered with the SEC. But definitely the mandate is there for most of the organizations who are listed for implementing a risk management framework. The internal audit organizations, our survey shows that they are getting more into risk management rather than just auditing. They are the face of risk management in our organizations already, and that's going to happen. They are going to be the people who are actually going to do the risk assessments, report to the board. That's already started. So they are the chief, the risks officers kind of positions that are being held. And mostly in India, good part is that audit organizations reports to the board of directors or the audit committee, which is good in terms of independence. Whereas if you look at globally, it need not be that way. Of course, Sarbanes-Oxley has changed a lot of things where you need independent assurance, but earlier it was they were reporting to the executive, which has changed a lot globally also. If you look at most of the listed companies, the large ones would have a strong audit committee, which is at a board level, which drives compliance in the organization, which is good. India has actually progressed a lot in terms of compliance, and most of them take compliance very seriously. In fact, compliance is the largest driver for security in India. Almost, if I have to quote our survey, more than 50% of the people consider compliance as a major driver for security. Compliance is not just about technology, but definitely can be enabled using technology, which is we have just started on that process. If you ask me, the biggest driver for single sign-on in the US was Sarbanes-Oxley, because then you could manage the offboarding process, onboarding process, the roles, responsibilities, segregation of duties, through a single point. Actually, then you could have a well-controlled framework. So technology helped them to achieve that. There are other things, a lot of technologies went into companies due to Sarbanes-Oxley. India has not seen that phase as yet. Still, we are quite behind in terms of technology implementation for compliance. But yes, we are seeing an increased interest, especially since last year, in technologies which will enable. Because that is the way to go. As manpower cost increases, you will need technology to automate the tasks which you were earlier doing manually. So definitely that is what we will be seeing in the coming years. You will be increasingly seeing more focus on privacy of customer information which is there. Right now we don't have any privacy laws in India, which is a major driver for security abroad. But India soon will be seeing in the near future laws around privacy of information, on protection of customer, how do you handle that data, how do you export that data. That will be driving a lot of compliance initiatives within organizations. But there's still time for that. CIOs have a critical role to play in compliance. One thing is till date, they have been delivering business. They have enabled business for the organization. They have delivered benefits to the organization. But compliance is something that is, when you enable business, it's value creation. You are helping the organization to create value, create new products, enable new business processes. Compliance, if looked at from a different perspective, I wouldn't say it's only compliance. It's security, it's regulatory compliance, it's adhering to controls frameworks. It is value preservation. So when you are growing, yes, you have to create value, but that value has to be preserved. So the CIOs need to look at it from that perspective. We have created value, now you need to preserve that value. So CIOs will need to look at frameworks to ensure that this value is preserved through proper controls, through regulatory compliance, through adequate reporting. You will see a larger trend. If you really want to comply, you should not wait for audits to come, the audit team to come and audit you. Measurement, setting up key performance indicators. You have key performance indicators for businesses. Today you have help desk performance indicators. How quickly did someone resolve your fault? Or how quickly did someone address your query? Why not key performance indicators for compliance, for security? How many emails were sent out, if you can monitor that had confidential data, or how many paper documents are lying on the printer which contain confidential information. These key performance indicators for security measurement will help you to comply as a continuous process rather than a point-in-time assessment by the audit teams. So that is what CIS should look at, the KPIs for security and for compliance.